Welcome to the Quintin Moore Podcast.
Man, if you have come back on this podcast, I just want to applaud you. It's the third time you're listening to me. The fact that you'd come by, I just think we're friends. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for being my friend. I'm trying to be your friend. I really am. I'm motivated to try to take some of this information and things that have blessed me that maybe will be a blessing to you. And again, it is my dad that really used to sit down with me and say, son, we got to set goals if we're going to be successful at business. And he'd take me aside and would sit down and would make some goals and would reevaluate those goals and would reflect on them. And goals are those written down things that you want to be, that you want to do, and that you want to have. And you write them down. As we ended our last conversation, I'm sitting here in my office and we're recording all this, and I said 3% of Americans identify and set goals. And somebody's running on a computer and they say, hey, you're right. Well, I'm really not trying to lie to you. 3% of the population of America reflect on, identify, use their imagination, sit down and write goals. 3%. Check it out. You can Google it. So 3% do that. If you did what I asked you to do last time, you wrote down everything you want to be, and everything you want to do, and everything you want to have. Let me just give you some others that I play with. Where are you going to go? I've been in many countries around the world because I want to go. I've got this dream. I want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to Normandy. I haven't been to Normandy yet. So where are you going to go in your life? That motivates me to work real hard and then to be able to go see some things that my God created that are absolutely exquisite. What kind of contribution do I want to make? Listen, I want to help you discover who you are in Christ. I want to help you develop everything that you are in Christ, and I want to help you to make a difference in your life, in the life of your family, and in the life of the generation that you live. I want to contribute something to you becoming all that God intended you to be. I want to contribute to people, not just to have this faith about the hereafter, but a faith that works in the here and now, a faith that makes a difference in our cities and in our government and our culture. And that happens because we identify goals. What I want to become. Well, I got news for you. I've got a goal I've had for a long time. I want to be the best grandpa that ever was. I want my grandkids to go, my grandpa is cool. I work at it. I got some goals. I got some places I want to take my grandkids, some things I want to buy them. What do you want to learn? Man, I just keep reading books and keep going listening to good speakers. Listen, I'm the product of the people I have met, the books I have read, and the places I have gone. So what do you want to learn? Have you identified that? I want to learn to play guitar. I can't play a note, but I want to learn to play it. Who do I want to spend time with? I hate to even say this, but I got this friend, and I really like him, and he likes me. And his name's Francis. I've been with him several times now. I'm going to go back, see him again later this year. Who do you want to spend time with? I mean, I'm from Severy, Kansas. And I get to spend time with my friend, and I want to spend time with people that are great people. How much do you want to earn? How much you want to save? How much you want to invest? How much time do you want off so that you can go play? And what will you do to be healthy? All those things you got to write down what you want to be, what you want to have. There's other things to consider when you're talking like this, and you need a goals program. So when I talk to you about goals, I'm not just talking to you about a goal over in this area about how much money you want to make. I'm talking to you about having a program. How do you want to be spiritually? How do you want to be mentally? How do you want your family to be? How do you want your career to be? What kind of play? So it's a process. Fundamentally here, you got goals in different areas of your life. And you have to think like that. And life is like a cafeteria. It really is. It's like a cafeteria in two ways. There's lots to choose from. The second way that life is like a cafeteria, that life's not like a cafeteria, is that you got to pay for it before you choose it. And it's got news for you. Goals have right up front the reality that you have to kind of choose, but you got to pay for it. You got to put the effort into it. You got to put the energy into it. I live in Kansas, and you don't just get to drive the combine through the fields. You got to plant it before you can reap it. So you got to put the effort in. When you write the goal down, doesn't mean the goal's been accomplished. Now that you've identified it and written it down, you got to do certain things to see that it's accomplished. And you got to do those things before you can reap the reward of the habit. Good friend of mine says that everybody wants to be happy. Just go talk to your spouse. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to be reasonably prosperous. I'm going to tell you again, when people tell me it's not about money. Yes, it is. Everybody wants to be happy, healthy. They want to be reasonably prosperous. They want to be secure. They want to have friends. They want to have peace of mind. They have good family, and they want to have hope. So those are the things you really want. I promise you, you want to be happy and healthy. You want to be reasonably prosperous. You want to be secure. You need to have friends, peace of mind, good family, and you want to have hope. So if you know that's what you want, now that you've got all those things written down that you want to be, do, and have, you got them? Did you do? If you don't have them, then you might as well just stop, turn me off, and come back. Because what you're going to do now is go back to those long lists that you've been dreaming, those dream lists you imagine, and you're going to ask these questions. Now, I don't want you to erase anything you've written down, but I want you to take a pencil and you may draw through it. Doesn't mean you won't come back and revisit those things that you're dreaming about, but I want you to ask yourself these questions concerning the things you've written down. Number one, are they really yours? Are they really your goals, or are they somebody else's you picked up on? Ask yourself, is this what I want to be? Is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to have? Number two, what are the benefits? Listen, there are people that talk problems all the time. Does this thing benefit you? Does it benefit the people around you? Does it benefit the community that you're in? Sometimes goals are not always they don't always make you happy, but they benefit. Listen, braces are not fun, but the benefits of the braces is you got a good set of teeth. So some goals may not be really fun, but they have real benefits to them. They have real rewards to them. So when you're looking at your goals, does it have a benefit to you? How does it benefit? Is it valuable enough to do it? Number three, you wrote it down. Do you have the skills and knowledge to accomplish that goal? If you don't have the skill and knowledge to accomplish that goal, then you've got to back up a minute and make the goal about obtaining the skill. And then you can come back to that one. So if you don't have the knowledge and the skill, then just draw a line to it. Doesn't mean you can't accomplish it. It means that you got to have another goal before you can accomplish this one. Number four, identify the obstacles. Not having the skill is an obstacle. So you got to identify the obstacles that may be standing in your road. And then the other thing you got to do is you got to ask yourself, do I have, what groups do I need to help me? Listen, I've got goals that I cannot accomplish on my own, but I have friends that help me. I have a staff that helps me. I have family that helps me. Can you identify the groups of people or individuals that you're going to have to get on board with you in order to have that? Can you take that goal and write an action step? Can you write a program that says 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I accomplished my goal? When's it due? So what's the date that you set to it? These are the questions you've got to ask of everything you've written down. Is it really yours? What's the benefit to it? Do you have the skills, the knowledge to accomplish it? What are the obstacles that you're facing? Who is it you got to work with to see that it gets accomplished? Have you developed a program or a plan of action? When's it gonna be done? When are you going to know that it's accomplished? I think one of the interesting things that I would just say to you is that I hear people all the time say, well, my goal is to be happy. Yeah, if your goal in life is to be happy, I just want to say to you, you might have a couple of problems with that, because happiness is not a goal. Happiness is the result of achieving the goal. If you achieve the goal, you ought to be happy. So happiness is a result of an action that you've taken. So to identify the goal, take an action to the goal, an accomplishment of the goal, that generally will make you happy. But let me really encourage you. You really need to start from a place of happiness. If you're waiting to achieve it and then be happy, it's going to be harder to achieve it. I'm not telling you it can't be done, but listen, when I do the work to dream, I'm already happy. The minute I begin to dream about it and identify it, it gets me going. So I want to encourage you to start from a place of happiness and not depression. If you're trying to work out of this unhappiness, see, happiness is not a when, it's not a where, it's a here and a now. It's right here, right now. The Bible says that in the presence of the Lord, there is joy. Listen, you're in the presence of God right now, because it's God that's going to help you to accomplish, achieve those things in your life. Because happiness isn't based on what you do, it's based on who you are. Everything you want to be. How about being happy? Happiness is not a feeling, it's not a goal, it's who you are. So make up your mind that in a general way, happiness is who you are. It's a state of mind. It's knowing. And I understand that life is fragile. But again, is there something you can do today that would blow your life up? Is there something you could do today that would light the passion in your life? And it really is. And that's make a decision that in the presence of God, you're happy, and there's things you can become, things you can do, things you can have. But always, you don't always get to keep what you have, but you do get to keep who you are. You can never lose who you are. So, and what you have generally is a result of who you are and how you're dealing with the things of life. I'm one of those guys. This medium, I got to tell you, just having a conversation with you, it's a whole lot easier if I'm surrounded by a number of people interacting. That's why we're making it available to you to ask me questions. Somewhere on here, I know there's a place where you can send me questions, and I'll try to answer them to you. So I hope I'm stirring some of that, because it's a whole lot easier for me if I know that I can help you with that. But let me promise you, you cannot stay ecstatic all the time. Life is fragile. Life has its ups and its downs, and there are going to be some days you're thinking, I am never going. But so life's fragile. You can't stay ecstatic. If the sun shined all the time, you'd be in the Sahara Desert. So you don't want a life that's filled with all sunshine, or listen, you can't be eating ice cream every meal. Contrary to what my grandchildren tell you, if you ate ice cream at every meal, you'd be sick. And when you go through the hardest times, that's when you're going to achieve the greatest results. All you got to do is ask my wife, ask my daughters. Listen, childbearing is not a lot of fun. Now, I got to tell you, the grandchildren are not a fun of my life. So life has those moments, and you got to realize it, that you can take control of your life. You can stay steady in your life if you have goals and you know what you're shooting for, and you can determine it. I said it before, 97% of the people in your community, 97%. Just think about it. Go to the mall, go to Chick-fil-A, sit there, watch those people go by. 97% of those people do not have identified goals. They do not have a set of identified action steps to accomplish those goals. They haven't asked themselves the question, is this beneficial? Do I have the skills? Can I develop the relationships? Are you here? Can I develop the relationships that are necessary? Can I develop the skills? Can I create benefit? 97% the people in the community where you live have never done that. Can you imagine how successful you're going to be in your job, how much your marriage is going to increase? Because only 3%. Now, there's reasons for that. There's 4 major reasons why people never set and accomplish goals. And number 1 is fear. People are afraid to. They just are afraid to. They keep looking at what they have and who they are and where they're at. And listen, many years ago when I was a kid, I remember watching the evening news with my dad, and some guy hijacked an airplane and took it to Cuba. I don't really know why, but he hijacked an airplane and he used a bar of soap. He took a bar of soap and if you can hijack an airplane with a bar of soap, you can do anything. But the point being is, fear is what hijacked the plane, not the bar of soap. We get hijacked from setting goals and believing that our lives can get better because we're afraid. We've given information about ourselves as children and to ourselves, and we carry those insecurities. Well, listen, you were 7 for God's sakes. You're now 47. You're not 7. It's been 40 years. You don't have to be afraid of don't be afraid of the dark. Don't be afraid of the dark. So fear keeps people from setting goals. Listen, yesterday's over. Today is now. You can set some goals, but people are so afraid of trying something new, trying something different. That's why they can't figure out their smartphones, because they're afraid. Listen, the thing's not going to blow up in your hand. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and text somebody. Go ahead and go on Facebook Live, for God's sakes. I mean, it's not the doorway to hell. It opens up a lot of opportunities. But there are so many people that are afraid of technology. Listen, if you're afraid of technology, you probably never get your goals set, because I use the silly technology to remind me constantly of the goals that I'm trying to do. So number 1 reason why people don't set goals, they're afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid of their past. They're afraid of the things of the present and of the future and of the unknown. But listen, you need to get over it. It's not dangerous to set goals. You never set too big a goal. Number 2, second reason why people don't set goals is they have a lousy self-image. They have this picture on the inside, and they've already decided they're never going to get the opportunity for that interview to take that job. They've already decided, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest? And they are so down on themselves. They don't believe in themselves. It's interesting to me how many people that believe in Jesus, but they don't believe in themselves. Jesus believes in you more than you believe in you. It's this self-image issue, and we got to get over that self-image issue. Joyce Brothers says, a great psychologist, she said, you cannot consistently perform in a manner that is inconsistent with the way you see yourself. So you might have to start seeing yourself as a child of God, fearfully, wonderfully made, formed by the creator of the Milky Way. I mean, good heavens, God doesn't create inconsequential. He doesn't create people without gifts and talents. He didn't use bad clay on you and good clay on somebody else. He used the same clay to make us all. The power is not the clay. The power is the Spirit of God that gets in the clay. God's on the inside of you. You need to get a different self-image of yourself. And you people always play their handicap. I don't play a lot of golf, but it's interesting to me how people step up to the tee box and they tell you their handicap. Quit pointing out your handicap. Change the way you see yourself. Most people don't make goals because they have this handicap of themselves. This is a Harvard study. I can't tell you exactly where I read it, but I will tell you, I got someone sitting to my left, and he's checking out the stuff I'm saying, making sure I'm correct. And so I was reading through my notes, and it's this idea that everybody's having sex but you. Everybody. Did you know that teens that abstain from sexuality until they're married, they have a healthier self-esteem? They have a healthier self-image. They see themselves as better. According to the Google that we just looked at, 54% of high schoolers, seniors in high school, have never had sex. Can you believe that? 54% have never. So the point being is not everybody's doing it. Not everybody's doing it. And if you really do a little search with me, you'll find out that some of those 46% that are saying they aren't, because they think that everybody else is. Hear me. Most people go ahead and succumb to the pressures of this world because they have a low self-esteem. You can defeat that low self-esteem. You can defeat it. And if you defeat that low self-esteem, you can accomplish great goals. There's great stories. The guy's name's Tom. And Tom is 63-inch waistline, and he weighs 406 pounds. He's going through a divorce, and his boss is his only friend, and he's broke. I mean, he's failing in every area of life. But he began to listen to the idea that you could take control of your life by setting some goals. He began to hang around some of us, and so he went and joined a health club, and he began to make a commitment to lose weight. He began to make a commitment to stop smoking. He began to make a commitment to change. And I remember him looking one day, and he talks about how he was standing in front of a glass window at like a food counter, like in Kroger's. And he said he heard this little girl from behind him said, "Look, Mommy, look at the fat man." And he turned around to see who she's talking about. See, when your self-image changes, you change. Whenever you begin to see yourself, not just as the fat man, but you get a picture on the inside of yourself that's different. You can see yourself from a different perspective. That's when things really, really begin to change. So why is it that people don't set goals? Number one, fear. Number two, low self-image. They see themselves badly. Thirdly, they're not sold. I'm trying to sell you on the benefits of goals. Most people, they just haven't been sold yet on the reality that setting goals makes a difference. But I promise you, without a goal, there's no focus. You'll find yourself at home with your family wishing you were working. You'll find yourself at work wishing you were with family. You kind of recognize that this goal setting thing really works.